Welcome to an Altered Confluence playthrough against the Flood. Before we get started, it's important to note that Altered Confluence is a fan-made solo mode for Equinox's TCG Altered and is not endorsed by Equinox. Portions of this material are the property of Equinox. Also, this video is a playthrough. If you're interested in the rules, check out the Altered Confluence rule video, link in the description below. And if you want to learn more, head over to MarcinOn.com to find written rules, print and play files, as well as the link to this very tabletop simulator mod on the Steam Workshop. For this playthrough, we will be facing off against the Flood, the original Altered Confluence automata. The Flood is designed to ramp up the difficulty by continuously creating floodwaters that are difficult to remove from the board, which will slowly overwhelm with ocean terrain. Today, we're going to play aggro into the Flood with the Kojo and Booda starter deck, looking to reconnect the two before the Flood can stall us out and have darkness consume us. Because we're using a starter deck, I will be playing against the easy all-commons version of the Flood deck. Alright, let's get set up. I've already put together the adventure track and laid out the two hero cards, so let's quickly give our deck one more shuffle and draw our starting hand. Alright, our starting hand contains Rare Dorothy Gale, not bad, but not good in the starting hand. A Haven Bouncer, fantastic against the Confluence, because remember, Confluences start with one card in their reserve, so that sabotages online right away. Sun Wukong is okay early game, but unfortunately he loses a lot later because his stats are focused on the mountains, and, well, we're against the Flood, which is going to really focus on the ocean. Atlas can't play him turn 1. He's okay, but just not useful in the opening hand. Bravo's Pathfinder is a bit of a late game card because it's good water stats for a cheaper cost, but doesn't help us get off the starting line because it doesn't have any forest stats, so not great in the opening hand. And Haven Warrior is just a solid stat stick, so I am happy to see it. So I think we're going to get rid of Atlas. There's not much we can do with him. We're going to get rid of, well, we'll have to get rid of Dorothy Gale. I just don't think I want a dead card in hand for several turns here. And then, last but not least, it's between Sun Wukong and the Bravos Pathfinder. I do think we're going to get rid of the Bravos Pathfinder, just because at least Sun Wukong gets us off the starting line if something else comes up, that for some reason we need some more mountain stats, but we definitely need at least a little bit of forest that the Pathfinder doesn't have. Okay, let's set up the Confluences side. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. 1, 2, 3 cards in its mana zone to start. 1 card in its hand, and it does reveal a card in reserve, as we had just mentioned. That's a scary card. I might be Haven Bouncering turn 1. Depends if it'll be able to play that Siren turn 1. 3 mana. We'll see. Speaking of, let's get into it. Start of day 1. Because the threatened expedition is the hero expedition, as you can see with the first player marker, that does mean the Confluence will go first. We do skip the morning. No at noon triggers will happen this first noon. The Confluence only has 3 cards in its mana zone, and I am not the first player, so neither of our hero at noon powers trigger. Let's get into the afternoon. The Confluence starts us off by playing the only card in its hand. It is a Naiad. Starting off, it goes to the Companion Expedition, as can be seen by its placement rule, and it creates a Floodwater. That's a lot of stats right away. That does mean I won't have to worry about this Siren, so I can focus on dealing with that, or I can move forward in the other expedition, get rid of the Siren just to be safe, and that Naiad's gonna leave anyway. It's only persistent when it's fleeting. Decisions. I think because I'm going to have Booda to help me with the Companion Expedition next turn, I am just going to make sure we don't see that Siren come into play. Haven Bouncer on this side. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Played from hand. Sabotage. I do not like the Sirens. They are probably the scariest card in the Flood's deck. That Asleep can turn things around real quick. Alright. The Confluence is going to pass on its turn. It's got no cards in hand, no cards in reserve, 1 mana, but nothing to play with it. And, of course, I'm going to pass when it passes back to me. That ends our afternoon. At dusk, we're going to take a look at Overcoming. I do manage to overcome the terrain in the hero expedition, and there was nothing else to overcome, so without a problem, our hero steps forward. On the companion expedition, I do not manage to overcome anything. I didn't play anything to the companion expedition, and so that is the end of Dusk. At night, we go to rest. Of course, my Haven Bouncer goes to rest, or goes to reserve, sorry. And the Naiad is not persistent yet. It didn't have fleeting, so it will also move to reserve. The Floodwater token is constant. It's basically going to be there for the rest of the game. Oh boy. All right. Before we go to cleanup, I do like to just double check, make sure all of our stats are matched up for the next turn. Makes it a little bit easier. All right, cleanup, checking reserves, checking landmarks. We're all good to go. And now we move to Midnight. Midnight is, of course, the additional phase of night that we have in Altered Confluence. On the first Midnight of the game, Darkness does not advance because we have not yet revealed a Midnight card, but we're going to do that right away. So our Midnight card says Darkness advances on both the hero and companion. That is very scary, but thankfully our hero moved forward, so we will only really have to focus hard on the companion, get them to move forward next turn to avoid tragedy there. If we're able to get a double move, that would be great. We're bravos. It does happen, but we'll see. And we're going to be the first player, so that's a little bit harder to deal with as well. Either way, that's the end of night. Let's move to morning. In the morning, we start by changing our threatened expedition, and then we ready all mana orbs. Our own and the confluences, of course. Then we're going to draw 2 cards and throw one into mana. Atlas is pretty good at dealing with Moby Dick, but he's not going to get played. He's in the Midnight Zone. Other than that, I'm going to have 4 mana, and I don't see a way of playing 2 cards next turn. So, I'll leave the physical training because it is possible that I'll want to boost Booda instead of playing another card, but chances are I'm just going to play this Bouncer from reserve alongside Booda, make sure a companion moves through. In fact, I'll have to make that decision before I see anything else, so we'll see what happens. For the Confluence, we have to draw 2 cards. I do, of course, have to keep the order of the cards the same, so that's why you see me fiddling with them just a little bit. All right, we move to noon. I am the first player, so my at noon triggers go first. Let's make our Booda token. We are relying on you, Booda, because I'm going to need your stats. Of course, the Confluence only has 3 cards in its mana zone. It didn't ramp at all last turn, which is very nice for us, and that means we won't see an extra Floodwater token in our threatened companion expedition, which is great to see for now. Let's go to the afternoon. I am the first player. I gotta make my choices first. Now, the Flood, of course, does have some sabotage effects, so I think my best choice is to just play out the Haven Bouncer and not worry about the cards I have in hand. I'll reserve a little bit of card advantage this way and not get sabotaged out. So let's send our Haven Bouncer here. Make sure we give them a fleeting token. 1, 2. Oh yes, played from reserve. Give them a boost as well. 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. I hope that's going to be enough because I can't do anything else this turn. I have really awkward mana costs. Next turn I can play 2 cards. That'll be nice. Alright, let's see what the Confluence is up to. Top card of its hand is a Scylla. It does not have 5 mana. That is just going to be used to ramp. Passes back to me. I'm going to pass. I'm done for the round. Let's pass back to the Confluence. The Flood reveals the top card of its hand. It is a Hippocampus. Don't love to see it because that draws it a card. Also sends it to the Threatened Expedition. 1, 1, 1. Draw card. Oh boy. This means we might see that Naiad come back. Actually, almost certainly. Unless this is a 1 mana card. I'm not even sure. Oh, it does have 1 mana cards. It's got Marids. But let's find out. It's 2 mana Rising Tide. It can't play that. Sends it to the mana zone. 2 ramps in 1 turn. That's a lot. It's going to start creating Floodwaters next turn. And of course, it's going to take its next turn to once again play this Naiad over here. It's 1 water, and when the Naiad enters, oh, of course it is fleeting. When it enters, it does create a Floodwater token. I am just going to stack the tokens. It would get played to the left, but there's not much interaction with these tokens anyway, so we'll just stack them up to save space. That's a lot of water, but thankfully I've just managed to stack up enough stats so that I think we'll be okay at dusk, because of course the Confluence is also finally going to pass. It has no cards in hand, no cards in reserve, and no ready mana. So we move to dusk. Hero Expedition has been left alone for this round. We've played everything towards the companion, and rightly so. We do manage to overcome everything. The total stats are 225, and we have 555. Of course, in Altered Confluence, you only need to match to make it, and so we're all good. Our companion is traveling forward today. We won't get swallowed by darkness. Although, we're going to be in a bit of a tough spot because darkness is going to be nipping at our heels on both ends next turn. Alright, let's go to rest. Night starts, we go to rest. Booda ceases to exist because he is a token. We will get rid of our Haven Bouncer, and similarly on the other side, this Naiad has done its damage. The Hippocampus will go to reserve. Everything was overcome, so Persistent doesn't come into effect, and these 2 constant Floodwaters will stick around. Let's double check our stats here. Starting to be a lot of water in the Companion Expedition, all off that one Naiad. But, well, we're safe for now. Clean up, nothing to clean up. And finally, midnight. Darkness advances on both sides. That completes Moby Dick's job as the midnight card. Let's hope it's not another Moby Dick over here. It's not. Okay, this Merid will thankfully only push darkness at the companion, so that's what we gotta focus on next turn. But darkness is keeping up with us, which I don't like to see. Alright, speaking of next turn, let's go to morning. We switch our threatened expedition to the other side. We ready all mana orbs. I'm just going to leave mine in a stack. Leave the Confluences in a stack as well. I'm going to draw my 2 cards for turn, and what do I want to get rid of? Well, I definitely don't need another Sun Wukong, but I don't like Intimidation in this matchup either. Do I keep some stats around? I'm only going to play Physical Training and one of these 3-costers anyway. Unless I play a 3-coster, hold on, and see if I need Intimidation. I'll keep it around, just in case. So let's put Sun Wukong in our mana zone, and then of course draw 2 cards for the Confluence, keeping them in the same order. Let's go to noon. The Confluence is the first player. Its at noon triggers go first. It's going to create a Floodwater token in the Hero Expedition, because that's the threatened expedition this turn. I have no at noon triggers. Let's get into the afternoon. Here comes the Confluence with the top card of its hand, revealing another Scylla, but now it can play it. So Scylla goes to the Companion Expedition, as can be seen on its card. 1, 1, 2, 3, 1. But it creates a Charybdis token in the opposite expedition. 1, 1, 1, 2, 3. That is pretty scary. Okay. Well, we have to push our companion forward no matter what. So, interestingly enough, Sun Wukong here is actually slightly better than the Haven Warrior because the stats match up better against Scylla. So, as much as I disparaged his failure to have water stats, I think it's the card we need right now. So, on my turn, 1, 2, 3 mana. Sun Wukong comes to the Companion Expedition. Oh, I did forget to reset my stats, but that's easy enough to take care of. There we go. And here we go, passing back to the Confluence. It is going to throw this card in mana because it has no mana left. It's a 1-coster, even better. Send it over. It won't be able to play the Hippocampus because it doesn't have 2 mana, so I know the Confluence is done for the round. It's my turn. I do have to do something. Now, I do have 2 options because I could actually use the Intimidation here and send a Floodwater back to the Confluence's hand. The Intimidation does allow me to send permanents to hand, and that does mean it would get rid of the Floodwater entirely. I have the mana to do it, the mana is spare, and I would overcome Scylla normally using Sun Wukong and still be able to pass through. that seems like long-term value. I think it's a better move than the physical training. It's not a move I take very often at all, but I do think that just this once, Intimidation, which is fleeting, of course, so straight to discard, is going to get rid of one of these Floodwater tokens and be just enough for us to squeak by on the Companion Expedition. Alright. That brings us to dusk. Of course, the Hero Expedition is going to stay where it is, right on the edges of darkness, with a big, scary, persistent Kerbitus facing it. Not great. But we can also take a look at our Companion Expedition, which, as we just mentioned, is going to squeak by and be safe from the darkness for this round as well. Let's go to night at rest. We, of course, send Sun Wukong back to reserve, and we did overcome Scylla off to reserve with you. I would much rather not see that get played again next turn, because that'll stack 2 Kerbiduses against our hero, and that's going to be probably impossible to overcome. So let's hope it doesn't play Scylla next turn. We move to midnight, and, well, based on our midnight card, darkness advances against the companion. We're safe for now. What do we have to face off against next turn? Darkness will advance on the hero from Leif. So now we're going to have to bounce back and deal with that Charybdis next turn. Let's make sure that we've reset stats. Of course, nothing has changed on our hero side, but our companion side has changed. Well, lost all of the mountain stats. That's nice to see. All right. And with midnight complete, our stats reset. Let's go back to morning. First thing in the morning, we switch our threatened expedition over. Companion expedition is now threatened. And we ready our mana orbs. And we draw 2 cards. Now, I'm starting to see some value in this Bravos Pathfinder because it is going to help with a lot of that water on the Hero Expedition side. Bravos Tracer is, of course, a massive boost of points, nice and undercosted in exchange for, of course, being a one-time use. And Physical Training is basically the same, but 2 times use. Haven Warrior is alone overcoming in the Hero Expedition, so I do want to keep that because I do think that will be my strongest play to start with. I'm not too worried about Sun Wukong getting lost to clean up next turn, because again, mountain stats were thankfully useful against Scylla, but ultimately are not going to be our biggest issue. So I think, it's a tough one, but I do think that the repeated use of the Bravos Pathfinder and the Physical Training is probably slightly better than the Tracer. I'm just a little worried because we are playing so much catch-up. I could go 2, 2, and 2, but that might be the way to go. No, both sides need forests, so Bravos Pathfinder is not going to be the card we need this turn. That's probably what kicks it out. Alright, goodbye Bravos Pathfinder. Okay, then, with that ready, let's prepare the Confluence's hand. And that brings us to noon. I am the first player. Resolve my noon triggers first. Welcome back, Booda. I really hope nothing else happens in the Companion Expedition, and you're enough to just push that forward on your own. On the other side, oh, yes, of course. Never mind. We've got more water to deal with. Well, the flood's doing flood things. It is flooding the board with flood waters. I've said that word enough. Let's move to the afternoon. I'm the first player. And, well, I have to throw things at the Hero Expedition, otherwise I will lose the game. So, let's just go off to a strong start and hope that we don't get blown out. Alright, let's see. Top card of the Confluence's hand is a Merid coming to the Hero Expedition. I don't love to see that it's in the Hero Expedition, but I should be able to deal with it. So I think that will be okay. And now we have the question. Do I play the Physical Training or the Bravos Tracer up against this? I am leaning towards the Bravos Tracer. 1, because it'll help us prevent from overcapping our reserve. And 2 because it means at least we have 2 characters there. I mean, we'll need both of them regardless, so if one of them gets removed, so be it. But I do think the Bravos Tracer is the correct choice here. Give it its fleeting. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Please don't play this card towards the Hero Expedition. And the Confluence shows me... Oh. Also, I didn't pay for the Merid. That's important. 2 mana for a Naiad. Also to the Hero Expedition. I think we might just have squeaked through. Because I'm going to have to pass. And the Confluence has no cards in hand, but it of course can play a card from its reserve. The Hippocampus is all good to go. And for that 2 mana, it's going to come to the Threatened Expedition, create its on reserve cast Floodwater token, but we're okay. We're okay for now. I am, of course, thankful that Booda is going to overcome that Hippocampus and thus help out just a little bit with the stats for next turn. But with that, I think the Confluence does have to pass its turn. It only has 1 mana. It definitely can't play Scylla. And I've already passed. So let's move to Dusk. We have just barely managed to overcome on the hero's side. So we move forward. Nope, all the way over there. And since we have overcome, Charybdis, goodbye. Thank you for playing. And both these get to go as well. Of course, because the Merid was overcome, it's not going to leave behind an extra Floodwater token, which is great to see. We've mostly cleared out the Hero Expedition, except for those 2 Floodwaters. It'll be 3 next turn when noon hits, but overall, that's pretty good. Our Haven Warrior will come back. We will delete our Fleeting and send Bravos Tracer to the discard. Booda moves back to our token zone, but did overcome the Hippocampus. That's a whole lot of cleanup going to be happening on the Confluence's side. I do get to choose the order of these cards coming back, and I do think that I'm going to slightly change their order and send in the Naiad first, because it's the one that's leaving behind the most. Oh, sorry, this was actually Fleeting. Never mind. Forgot to give it a Fleeting token, but it was played from reserve, wasn't it? So, we are left with this as our setup. Let's go to cleanup. And in cleanup, the Confluence does have too many cards in its reserve, so it is going to discard the leftmost card and leave these 2. They're more likely to be played. Of course, I have nothing to clean up. I've been managing my reserve pretty decently, if I may say so myself. And let's go to Midnight. Midnight, Darkness advances on the hero. Let's see what we're up against. Darkness will advance on the hero again next turn, so we really got to focus there, and unfortunately it's going to be a whole lot of water to get past. So let's reset the stats, 1, 2, and 3 from the terrain. I've, of course, got nothing left in the tank here. And then on this side, we've got 1 from the terrain, none from the terrain, and a total of 4 Floodwaters. Oh boy, they are stacking up. But we're making it for now. We're getting close. Midnight ends. Let's go to morning. Change our Threatened Expedition over. Ready all of our mana orbs, and of course, ready all of the Confluence's mana orbs. Draw 2 cards. I've got 6 mana available. Another Tracer. That's nice. Ratatoskr is nice to just be able to do a 1 mana play and see what happens. I'm going to have 7 mana if I throw something in mana. I definitely still should. I don't think I'm quite there where I can start ignoring it. 3 mana for the Warrior. 2 for Physical Training, 2 for Tracer. That's a good use of 7 mana. Does that mean we send Ratatoskr out? Probably. I think I'm going to have to send Ratatoskr out, but that will It will sort of clear my hand a little bit, but I think that will be my strongest play. It lets me use my mana the most effectively that I can. The Confluence, of course, draws 2 cards. We haven't seen it play a landmark yet this game. All right, noon. At the start of noon, the Confluence will, of course, create a Floodwater in the Threatened Expedition since it has more than 5 mana orbs in its mana zone, and since I'm not the first player, no Buddha for me. Let's go to the afternoon. The Confluence is first. It plays, oh, speaking of landmarks, the Santa Maria. So the Confluence, of course, when it plays the Santa Maria, will put the top card of its deck, into its mana zone readied and resupply. Then it'll pass back to me. That is, well, that monkey's scarier when it gets played from hand, so thankfully that's not too bad, but it's always going to go for a progressing expedition. I need to push the hero forward. So I guess I just start with a card from reserve to make sure it doesn't get sabotaged out, although the first card that would get sabotaged would be Sun Wukong, seeing as he is the leftmost. But let's throw some stats. For now, it's a progressing expedition, but I don't expect that to stay the same, seeing as both these and this one would all get sent to the hero expedition. But let's reveal the top card of the Confluence's hand for its turn, Unstable Foundations. Now, I don't have any landmarks. Unstable Foundation would let me send a landmark to reserve, but since I don't have one, it's immediately going to skip the second half of its text and just create a Floodwater on each side. Don't love that. But I'm running a landmarkless starter deck, so it does have a Moona Spindle, but I wouldn't play that Spindle even if I drew it. So I think that was always going to be the case with Unstable Foundations. Alright, my turn. I'm going to start by doing some physical training, and that's only because it's the leftmost card in my hand. And I don't think it matters too much which one of these I play first. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Alright. The Confluence has 2 mana, and it has a 2 mana card it can play from reserve, so it is going to do just that. Playing out this Naiad. 1, 2. Oh, I'm out of Floodwater tokens. Let's spawn another one in, and I'm actually good to go here. It's done for the turn. It lost a little bit of tempo by playing that Santa Maria, and that's just what we needed to get back in the game. I am progressing in this expedition. I believe what that means is that I should just hold back the Bravos Tracer. It can't do anything in the other expedition. It's not going to help in this one either. Hold on to that Bravos Tracer, have a little bit of a burst next turn. And I guess that would have been good reasoning for playing the physical training first. Let's say that was the plan the whole time. Alright, let's move to Dusk then, because the Confluence is going to pass on its turn. No mana left, nothing in hand. Let's overcome everything on this side. Of course, that means we shift forward and thankfully leave a little bit of ocean terrain behind. That's always just a little bit of help. Alright, nothing happens in the companion expedition. I didn't play anything on that side, and that brings us to rest. So of course, our warrior was fleeting, very physically trained, but fleeting. This Naiad similarly is fleeting, and Floodwaters stay where they are as always. Alright, let's go to cleanup. Nothing to clean up. Looks all good. Midnight. Darkness advances on the hero, but we've stayed ahead. We're close. We're getting there. Darkness will once again advance on the hero from this wash away, so we gotta keep pushing that side no matter what. Thankfully, the at noon Floodwater will go to the companion expedition, and so we'll be okay there. Let's double check our stats. 5 water, 1 forest, and I, of course, have nothing. On this side, nothing has changed. 4 Floodwaters plus 1 ocean terrain, 1 forest terrain. I have nothing. We're all good. I believe that means we can move to morning. Let's shift the threatened expedition back over the companion. I will be the first player. Don't love seeing that. Let's reset all of our mana orbs, and unfortunately also the confluences. We'll draw our 2 cards, and a rare Haven Warrior. Unfortunately, the rare isn't all that much better than the regular one, because it's the mountain terrain that gets buffed, and that's not what I need. Isunboshi, though, absolutely fantastic at this point in the game. It's a 1 mana get over 2 Floodwaters, which is starting to be very important, as you can see. I want to keep the Tracer. I want to keep the Isunboshi. I could send Haven Warrior back, or rather, 2 mana. I've got 7 mana available. 2 for the Tracer, 1 for the Boshi is 3. Another 3 for the Warrior. Play out my whole hand is 6. So that means I don't need to put it into mana. But I would like to at least reserve a little bit of card advantage. Use that physical training. That will be 3, 4, 5, 6 if I play Tracer, Isunboshi, and the physical training. I could send out the Sun Wukong. It's a slightly better use of mana because it's 4 plus the Tracer. The Boshi is 7, but unfortunately I don't think the stats are quite as close to what we need. I could just do Sun Wukong and the physical training, in which case we would have enough stats to get over the water at the moment, but not coming up. This is a tough one. I don't know what to throw in there, if anything. I do have a whole lot of different plays I can do for the 7 mana I already have. But if I throw one thing in there, that Isunboshi can squeak out, just in case. Let's see. What if I throw everything... Sun Wukong and Tracer is 5 mana, plus... No, I wouldn't be able to do the physical training. And I don't think Sun Wukong has quite enough water. Oh no, he does get 2 boosts, though. So he would be 4 water. That's something very important to keep in mind. In that case, I think that might be worth it. 4 mana for Sun Wukong, and then... I think just keep things around, because it's either the physical training or the Warrior, or Tracer and Isunboshi. I think I'm going to stay at 7 mana. That took a lot of thought to do nothing, but I think it's my best move at the moment. Also, I'm going to get Booda, so I should have a lot of power right now. Okay, last but not least, give the Confluence 2 cards in his hand. Let's move to noon. I am the first player. Booda, welcome, welcome. We need those stats real bad. Unfortunately, we need the stats on the other side, but we'll see. Maybe we can squeak out a double move. Maybe. Unlikely. Of course, the Flood will create its 1 mana, or 1 Floodwater there. Makes that side even worse to deal with. And it now has a second at noon trigger. It is going to take the top card of its hand, put it exhausted into mana, and resupply with that Santa Maria. Santa Maria, of course, gives it a lot of ramp, but helps me see what's going to be coming at me, which at the moment is that Leif is the first reserve card that'll get played because it's the most expensive from reserve. That does help with dealing with Floodwaters just a little bit. Unfortunately, it would get played... Oh no, it would get played towards the companion. So that's not bad. It's not bad at all. I have to go first. I would rather not have Sun Wukong get sabotaged out, if that's a monkey or a pirate corvette. So, I guess I'll play that, and if the physical training gets sabotaged, well, so be it. We're going to start with Sun Wukong. Fleeting, but also 2 boosts. Will give us 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. Of course, this is not yet a progressing expedition, but we will get there. We just have to hope that things get sent the other way in the meantime. Confluence's turn. A Siren. That would have been horrible if I had managed to make the hero expedition progressing, but thankfully neither are progressing, so it's going to tie break towards the threatened expedition and put Buddha to sleep. I think that's actually not the worst turn of events that could have happened. With the Confluence having 4 mana, that does mean it's going to play out its entire reserve. That's not great, especially because that does mean the monkey will go towards hero, because there's no way I can make this not progressing from my next turn and still progress later. Okay, I think the best bet is to play the physical training. I know it doesn't have any removal and no more sirens left for the turn. Leif will go towards the companion, then the other 2 will come this way. So if we do the math, this will end up being a 3-1-7 expedition. So a physical training is enough to get us through, not by much, but it's just enough for those 3 boosts to get us past. And I think that's the best bet, because that plays things from reserve, keeps our hand nice and healthy. Let's do that. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That should be enough. Alright, the Confluence is going to start playing out its reserve because it can. 2 mana for Leif. Leif will, of course, consume a Floodwater token to give himself a boost. And that's going to mean that 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, and the water ends up evening out between the boost and the Floodwater token that gets removed. That means that expedition ain't going to progress, but I think we're okay, because I need to pass. I'm tapped out. 1 mana. Leftmost cards, since they cost the same. The Merid. Oh, let's get you off the counters there. It will be overcome, so it won't leave a Floodwater behind. That's an added bonus. And last but not least, 1 mana for this. Now, of course, the monkey, 1, 1, 1, does resupply, but there won't be any mana left to play whatever it resupplies. It's a Rising Tide. That's not great, but again, can't be played this turn, so we're safe. Whew. With that, we go to dusk, and at dusk, I managed to overcome everything in the hero expedition, push them forward just enough. Whew. Next, we take a look at the command expedition, and nothing there. Let's go to rest. Sun Wukong was, of course, fleeting. Goodbye, you are not the rare, you don't come back to reserve, and I can get rid of the asleep over here. The Merid was overcome. I did forget to put a bunch of fleeting counters on all of these, but we know they were fleeting. The Merid was fleeting. Goodbye does not leave behind a Floodwater token, similarly to the Powder Monkey that was fleeting. On this side, the Siren is not persistent, so it is going to head to reserve. Unfortunately, Leif is persistent, so he's going to stick around because he was not overcome. All right, cleanup. We're good. Midnight. At midnight, darkness advances on the... Oops, let's only take 1. I believe it flipped my darkness around when they stacked on top of each other. Either way, we can send that to discard, and let's see. It's against the hero again. Now, it doesn't actually matter how darkness is going to progress here, because if I progress either side, I win. If I don't, I lose. So we're on match point here. Let's see what's going to happen. But I guess first, let's reset our counters. We have no forest. Oops, we do have 1 from their terrain here, and 5 plus the 1 from terrain is 6. Now, thankfully, the Confluence did just spend a lot of cards from its reserve. The Santa Maria is going to refill that just a little bit, but we're going to see what's coming up because of the Santa Maria. So I think that's going to help us out a lot. I believe nothing changed on the Confluence's side here, nor on my side, because Buddha was asleep. So we might actually go for the Companion Expedition here, because we get that extra +2 bonus to all stats. That might be enough to help us over the edge. Let's go to morning. Let's flip our Threatened Expedition. Prep all of our mana orbs, all of the Confluence's mana orbs as well, unfortunately. And, well, I talked about Spindle. I cannot play that. That is way too much lost tempo. Will I be able to play out the rest of my hand? Yeah, by playing that, I can play out the entire rest of my hand. Haven Training is not great because it's a lot of forest stats that are not useful against the Flood, but maybe that one ocean stat will be just what we need. I'm going to be playing everything to the Companion Expedition and hoping for the best. That is the plan. I have a healthy hand, so hopefully we'll be able to get there. Let's prep the Confluence and go to noon. At noon, I am not the first player, so no extra Buddha token, but the Confluence will, of course, create a Floodwater, sending it to this side. Yeah, I'm definitely going for the Companion Expedition. 7 water is tough. But of course, we also deal with the Santa Maria. So it's going to put the top card of its hand, exhaust it into mana, and then resupply. Another Powder Monkey. So it's probably going to play everything, including the Siren. So that's very scary. 3 mana for the Siren is going to put Buddha to sleep. So I need to count everything as if Buddha does not exist. Unless I don't make that a progressing expedition until after the Siren is played. I'll have to hold out for just one turn, really. It's the first card that's going to get played from the reserve, and it'll send it to a progressing expedition. But if my Companion Expedition is not threatened, it'll send it to the tie-broken threatened expedition for the hero, and gain some boosts there, but I won't worry about it. I think we're in the clear. The Confluence starts first. It's going to play Santa Maria. That's a lot of lost tempo. 2 mana to play that. But it does, of course, ramp and resupply. We're going to shift these to the side just a little. Resupply a Wash Away. Ooh, that's also against a progressing expedition, so I am going to have to hold out just a little bit. Yeah. Okay, we have to slow play. 1, 2. We're going to start with our Haven Trainee. Haven Trainee is not going to put us into a progressing situation here. We definitely don't have enough water pips to get there yet. So, we pass it back to the Confluence. It has 7 mana. I believe it's going to be able to play both the Wash Away and the Siren, but nothing else. And, well, it always starts by playing the most expensive cards it can. So, Wash Away gets played, and it's going to try to send target leftmost character in a progressing expedition. I don't have any progressing expeditions. It chooses the threatened expedition. I have nothing there, so it's going to create 2 more Floodwaters, and I'm going to ignore that and just ignore the hero expedition continuously. Now, we're going to just inch forward just a little bit. Throw Isenboshi over here. 1, 2. We're not progressing yet. And so with the last 3 mana that it has, it's going to play its Siren once again to the threatened expedition because neither are progressing. The Siren will get its boost because nothing went to sleep. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. And that's real scary. Also, I should put a fleeting on there, although it won't matter. The game ends either way. And that is terrifying. 11 water, but again, we're not facing that side. We are facing the other side. I'm going to put out our Bravos Tracer for 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Give him a fleeting. But Confluence now has no mana, no cards in hand. It has to pass. And I am progressing my companion. So I'm going to pass there as well. We go to Dusk. I don't do anything in the hero expedition, but my companion expedition overcomes, and we do just barely manage to squeak by with a win against the Flood. So that's it. We managed to win against the Flood using the Kojo and Booda starter deck. If you found this interesting and would like to see more, check out Altered Confluence at MarcinOn.com, where you'll find the rules, the Floods deck, and more. There's a link in the description below. And with that, I hope you've enjoyed. Best of luck in your own games against the Flood.